Hello, New Mexico, and welcome to this week's edition of Wealthy Living. I'm your host, Kristen Oakley, and joining me in the studio is Sean Kiehne. He is the founder of Kiehne Wealth Management and financial consultant Tyler Kiehne. We've got a great show for you today. Whether you have been watching the show for a while or you're tuning in for the very first time, you're going to love hearing the recent success stories of folks just like yourselves throughout the great state of New Mexico who have called into this television show, come in and met with Kiehne Wealth Management, and how their financial lives have been transformed for the better. Sean, Tyler, I cannot wait to have this conversation with you. Recent success stories, it doesn't get better than that, does it?
No, it doesn't. It's been great, but getting a lot of them lately.
Yes.
Tell them your recent success story.
Well, I've been losing a lot of weight.
Awesome.
And the key is seeing food and not eating it.
The seafood diet, I've heard of this, yes.
No, I've been doing a lot of fasting. In fact, I'm kind of proud of myself. I did a 3-day, 72-hour water fast a couple of weeks ago.
Wow.
And it's amazing the positive benefits that it does to your body. Your mind is a lot sharper, clearer. I mean, it's awesome.
Yeah, when I can tell, and your skin's glowing as well, so that's
awesome.
an added benefit, right? That's awesome. Any recent success stories for you, Tyler, before we get into clients you've helped?
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty out there. I think some of them are a little more private than others, but yeah. I mean,
he's maybe thinking about getting married, is what it's sounding like.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll talk after.
We'll talk after.
Aunt Kristen's got you.
All right.
Okay. All right. Well, back to the subject at hand. Recent success stories from this TV show. Here's the deal. We know that folks tune in week after week, and chances are that you may have a lot of the same questions or concerns as other viewers who have gone before you, who've watched the show, come in, met with a team of Kiehne Wealth Management. So we're going to share these success stories with you today and hope that they will be an encouragement to you, because we know that a lot of folks can relate to what other people have been experiencing as well. So I'm excited to get into it. We should say too, don't worry, we're not sharing any names, right? We like to protect privacy, so don't worry about that. But I want to start off with a story, Sean, that you were telling me about. You had a woman who came in. She was 64 years old. She had just retired, and she called you guys after she watched the show, which is so awesome. And she had an old annuity that was paying her about $15,000 a year. Can you share a little bit more about where she was at, what her questions and concerns were, and what you were able to do for her?
Yes, she saw our show called Refinancing Your Retirement, and she called in, came into the office, great lady, and was just kind of running through her scenario with us, where she was getting her income from. And a lot of people, you know, it's a Social Security, things like that. And then she said, and then I'm getting $15,000 a year from an annuity, and that perked up my interest right away. And I was like, okay, when did you open that annuity? When did you fund that? And she said, oh, it's probably been like 8 to 10 years ago. And I said, guess what? I really want to take a look at that. I'm going to bet you I can improve your situation on that. And she said, you know, what do you mean? And I said, well, interest rates have gone up a lot the last 4 or 5 years. And so what that means is that annuity you're in, it's stuck in rates from 8 to 10 years ago, interest rates.
Yep.
And I said, do you remember what you could get on a bank CD 8 to 10 years ago? And she said, well, I just remember it was like next to nothing. And I said, exactly, you'd been lucky if you could get 0.5% back then. And so long story short, I called up the company, her annuity company, got all the information, and then I found her an upgrade, basically the same type of account, but check this out. It gave her a $9,000 a year pay raise.
Wow.
She
awesome.
Was thrilled and thanking us. And, you know, like I say, she thought she had squeezed all the juice out of that lemon that she could, but we showed her there was still a lot more juice left. Yeah. And so that was a big lesson. We tell people out there, always review your older accounts out there. There might be something that'll pay you more.
Yes, you never know what opportunities are out there, and this really speaks to getting a second opinion a lot of times, right? Which I know you're a firm believer in. I am as well. We get a second opinion with our health all the time. Why wouldn't we do it with our finances? So I love that she called into the show, and right when she was planning to retire, to find out you're getting a raise. Hey, that's a pretty darn good day, isn't it?
She was excited. Yep.
That's awesome. Well, great. Well, I know, Tyler, a lot of people tune into the show and who watch have done a really great job of saving. And for a lot of folks, they've saved really well in something like a 401k or a traditional IRA, brokerage accounts, and even real estate. I know you work with a lot of folks who are diversified across different areas, right? But a lot of times, no matter how much someone has saved, I know a common theme you hear is people are questioning and saying, am I really set up to go ahead and retire the way I want to? Have I done enough? Have I saved enough? Really, the translation of that question is, am I going to be okay? And no doubt so many other folks watching today are asking themselves that same question. So when you meet with people who do have significant assets, maybe they have all these different types of investments, and you hear those concerns, what are they able to learn and glean from coming in and meeting with you? Any recent success stories that tie in with that?
Yeah. Before I get into that, I just want to say, if you're asking yourself those questions, it's because you're unprepared. Our coach always used to tell us, confidence comes from preparation, right? And when you're doubting yourself in some type of situation, in a game, specifically for us in the football games, if you were going into a game doubtful, it's because you were unprepared in some way, shape, or form, either mentally, physically, maybe you don't know the game plan. Mm-hmm. And so if you find yourself asking those questions, it's probably because you don't have a plan. Mm-hmm. And the plan is, you have a plan for almost everything that you do. And a lot of people just don't have a plan for their money. They plan vacations.
Yep.
They plan holidays. Mm-hmm. There's a number of things that people plan, and finances and retirement specifically isn't typically one of those. Mm-hmm. And so back to your question, people come in all the time and find that they don't have these plans. And the first thing we want to look at is, what does it cost you to be you? Mm-hmm. Like we say, we want you to retire from work, not your lifestyle. So then figure out what that costs. That's the first item that you need to get off your list, is figuring out exactly where you are. And then from there, you need a plan for your income, for tax efficiency within your retirement accounts and within your income, long-term care, risk management, protection from advisors and their fees. We know that there's some crazy fees out there.
Yeah, for sure.
And so that's just kind of what we find when people come by, is they don't have a plan, but they want to be confident that they can retire. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people that come in and say, do I have enough? They don't even really know what they have. Mm-hmm. They can't find the statements.
Right.
They thought they had less, but it actually has more, or vice versa. They thought they had more money and they actually have a lot less. And in reality, they have probably 20 to 30% less than they think they do because of taxes.
Right. Yeah.
So there's a lot of things that you have to look at, and it's important to have a plan.
For sure. And I think, we've mentioned the word plan. We talk about having a plan so much on this show. It's crucial. The issue is, a lot of people have retirement accounts and they have investments or investment accounts. That's not the same thing as having a plan. And this is what you guys do beautifully at the team of Kiehne Wealth, is bringing all these things together, inviting people to dump out their financial junk drawer, if you will, right? And figuring out how those pieces fit together. So as we wrap up this first segment of recent success stories, no doubt other folks watching can relate to so much of what we've already shared. What would be your encouragement to someone who's maybe asking themselves those very same questions? Do I have enough? Have I done enough? And am I going to be okay?
Yeah, I would encourage you, give us a call. We've planned hundreds of people's retirements. Like we tell people, when do you ever do something in your life for the very, very first time and ace it and get it perfect the very first time, right? So you're probably only going to plan your retirement, right? Well, guess what? Seek out an advisor that's planned hundreds of retirements, that kind of knows the potholes to look for that you may not be anticipating, and have that plan in place to where when situations arise, healthcare surprises, things like that, we've already got a plan for that. So give us a call. Let us walk through what that would look like for you.
Wonderful. And again, I know you are happy to offer this for no cost, no charge, no obligation. The reality is, a lot of firms out there will easily charge a couple $1,000s to get this depth and level of a plan. The team of Kiehne Wealth would love to be able to provide that for you completely free. So we encourage you to reach out so that you might be a future success story here from this show. That number to call to schedule your complimentary written financial plan is 877 877-697-6236. Or if you'd rather connect online, simply scan that QR code and that will get you connected as well. Don't go anywhere. We've got a lot more great recent success stories for you right after this.
I have fun. I wake up every day excited to go to work. Every day is a little bit different.
At Kiehne Wealth, we just like to treat everybody just like if they're our friends or our family. You know, we don't look at it as a business.
Really give them peace of mind. That's the feedback that we get from almost all of our clients is, hey, we really appreciate you. You took the time, you explained everything in simple terms, help us understand it, and we have that peace of mind working with you guys at Kiehne Wealth and Retirement. The benefit of us being independent, our clients like it because we have options to meet their needs. Over the years, we pride ourselves on, we don't just meet with you at the beginning of your plan or your retirement journey. We meet with you all the way from beginning to middle to end. We have annual reviews with all of our clients just to mainly catch up, see how they're doing, see if we need to tweak anything in their plans. What I like to say that people like about us is we're local. We're from New Mexico. My family's been here for generations, and they like to just deal with a real person, not someone on a 1-800 number. Another thing that's unique about us at Kiehne Wealth and Retirement, hablamos español. So we have a lot of clients that speak Spanish only, and they like us because we can explain everything to them in their native language.
Welcome back, New Mexico. You're watching Wealthy Living. I'm your host, Kristen Oakley, here with both Sean and Tyler from Kiehne Wealth and Retirement, and we are so glad that you're joining us today. If you're just tuning in, we are having a wonderful show sharing with you some recent success stories of folks throughout the state of New Mexico who have watched this show and then come in and met with the team of Kiehne Wealth and how their financial lives have been changed for the better as a result. And we know that a lot of the questions and concerns that you yourselves who are watching are having are the same questions and concerns that some of these folks we're featuring today had, and it's just been awesome to hear how you've been able to help them. And really no two stories are alike, which means that no two financial plans you build for folks are ever alike either, but there are some common themes. And the next story that we have to share with you all is about a gentleman who had watched the show, and he was really struck by our conversation about taxation in retirement. And he came in and he literally said to you, I feel like I'm just getting hammered in taxes every year. Can you share what you found when you actually sat down with him, dug into a situation, and offered him that complimentary written financial plan?
Yes, so this was an older gentleman that called in off the TV show, had quite a large sum in over $500,000 in bank CDs. And, but that, like you said, he didn't start out offering that information. He just, when he walked in, I said, hey, what piqued your interest to want to meet with us? He said, man, I'm just getting hammered in taxes and I can't figure it out. Is there anything you can do to help me? So we went through our checklist like we do with every client. You know, what's your income, things like this, where are you getting the income from? And then he mentioned these bank CDs, and then a light went off in my head and said, okay, there's the issue. So I showed him, you know, I asked him, how much are you earning on these bank CDs? About 4%. He said they were higher last year, but they keep lowering the rates on me. But he didn't even really realize that all the interest he was earning was taxable every year at the end of the year. So figured out that between state and federal taxes, he was basically in a 30% tax bracket. So I showed him the math. Like we always say, we're numbers guys, the math doesn't lie. I said, you're earning 4%, but you're giving a third of that away in taxes. So you're really only earning around 3%, and you're getting taxed. You know, you're giving away all that growth to taxes. And I asked him, you know, what's your goal for this money? Do you even need it? Like I said, he was older, getting close to age 80. He said, no, I don't even need this money. I just want it to go to my kids and grandkids. And so what was the solution? You know, he's like, well, can you help me? And I said, yeah, I know about a CD alternative account that earns quite a bit more than what you're earning, sometimes double and triple what bank CDs are earning. And here's the kicker, it's tax deferred. You just said you don't need the money, right? No. So this type of CD alternative account lets you just basically reinvest that interest every year, so your account compounds quicker and kind of snowballs quicker, instead of having to take a third out every December to pay those taxes at the end of the year. And so we were able to help him lower his income because just a little detail that had slipped by him, like all this interest I'm earning on bank CDs is causing all my other income to be pushed up into higher tax brackets. So a simple, it's what we find a lot of times, folks that are out there watching the show, a simple shift like that in how your money is invested and what accounts you're sitting in can make a big difference.
Yes, those small tweaks, those slight adjustments can make all the difference. And I think this is, again, where you and the team really shine in looking at folks, what they have going on, and helping them create greater tax efficiency throughout their full financial plan. Because we say it all the time, how you make a decision in one area of your financial life can and will affect all the others. That's why you can't afford to look at any one of these pieces of your financial puzzle in isolation, right?
And one thing, to your point there, one thing I forgot to mention is after we had put him in the CD, switched him from bank CDs to the CD alternative, a couple of months later, he called and said, hey, my Medicare premiums went down. And that was an added benefit of by lowering, because Medicare premiums are dependent on how much you earn.
Correct. And there's a 2-year look back with that, right?
Yep. There's things like IRMA, things that people aren't aware of.
Right.
And so just by making that one little tweak that he didn't even realize could be made, we saved him taxes, we got him tax deferred, and reduced his Medicare premiums.
I love that so much. Yeah, I mean, it really does speak to the fact that you have to look at things from that comprehensive, holistic perspective and point of view. So thank you for sharing that awesome story. Well, next up, this is something I've heard you say before on the show, Tyler, and that is that so many folks have no idea how much they're paying in fees. There's often a lot of hidden fees. And so that's what this next story centers around. So someone had come in, and it was a woman. She came to actually one of your live events, right?
Right.
And so for those of you that don't know, in addition to the TV show, they do tons of live events throughout the area. So I want you to be able to share with our viewers how they can connect with you that way as well. But she had come to your event and later found out that the fees on her variable annuity were completely shocking to her. So can you walk us through that story and what happened?
For sure. And we always say that variable annuities are one of the worst places that you can have your money. They're some of the most oversold and underexplained financial products out there.
I would 100% agree with that. Yeah.
And just like anything, there's good and bad. So annuities, those variable annuities are what give the name of annuity a bad rap.
Yes.
Because they're terrible.
Right.
Let's just be real. They're bad.
Yep.
But anyway, she came to a live event, and we said this to the people. We told them, hey, if you have a variable annuity, chances are you're paying a lot in fees. And so she took that information, she set an appointment, came in to meet with us, and she called her advisor, and her advisor told her, hey, these guys don't know what they're talking about, right? Your fee is only $45 a year. So she comes into the meeting kind of ticked off, and she throws her statement. She's like, hey, guys, he said it was only $45 a year. They're like, all right, let's see. Let's put it to the fire. Let's see if it's true, you know, because the truth will always come out, especially with numbers. Numbers can't lie. They don't lie. It's solid. It's fact. You can't.
They speak for themselves.
Yeah, they speak for themselves.
Yep.
So anyway, we call up the company, not her advisor directly.
Right, but the annuity company, right?
Exactly.
There's a little game we call saying call the company, right?
Exactly.
On a recorded line.
Yes, on a recorded line. Go ahead.
So we call up the company. We ask her we ask the company all the questions that as financial advisors we know how to ask.
Right.
And it turns out that she was paying around, what was it, almost 4% in fees?
3.95%
3.95% a year in fees. And on
within the account.
Right, and if you do the math on her account, she had about $300,000. 3.9% of $300,000 comes out to right around $10,000, $12,000 a year.
Right, that was coming out of the account that she had no idea because she didn't have to personally write that check.
Right, and what was she paying that fee for?
Yep.
Nothing. The variable annuity doesn't keep your money safe. It goes up and down with the market. There's nobody really managing it or doing anything with the money. They're just putting it in there and collecting money from you, and you're giving them free money.
And you have to pay that fee even when the account goes down.
Exactly.
The word variable, that's
Right.
why it's so
Exactly.
awful, right? Yeah.
And so it's just like, why? Why would you even want to be in one of those in the first place? But anyway, she realizes that she's paying upwards of $10,000 a year, and she just sits back in her seat and goes, man, I've had this account for 10 years.
Oh, gosh. Yeah.
So you're telling me I've paid over $100,000 in just fees? We said, yes, ma'am. That's the unfortunate situation here.
Right, right.
And so right then and there, we were able to replace that variable annuity with an account that doesn't have fees, that you actually get something out of,
Right.
that keeps your money safe and grows it to keep earning 4 to 8% a year.
Right.
It's a no-brainer. Like I said, the numbers don't lie. It's obvious here. Why are you going to be paying money out of your pocket for nothing? You're burning dollars, and you're getting nothing for it.
Right. And yet so many folks are in that position and don't know it because, you know, a lot of those fees don't have to necessarily be disclosed,
Right.
or they're in the prospectus that most people never read, right? And so I think it's a good wake-up call for folks who might have something and maybe not know what they have. If that's you, listen, there's no shame in that. But wouldn't you like to know now versus 10 years down the road, like this woman found out? And praise God, she found you guys. You were able to fix it, right?
Yeah.
But it's so much better to get that knowledge sooner rather than later. So what would your encouragement be to someone who's watching today?
Like we always say, if you have a problem in one of your investment accounts, when would you like to know about that problem? When would you like to discover that problem? Sooner rather than later, right? So we encourage folks that are out there, give us a call. We know these accounts inside and out. This is what we do. We can decipher those fees and show you what you're really paying and what you're getting for those fees. And like we always say, you don't know what you don't know. And we find that, you know, almost everyone we do a fee analysis for, like Tyler just mentioned this scenario, people had no clue that they were paying those fees.
Right.
And that there were better options out there.
For sure. And I was just going to add that what you don't know can absolutely hurt you.
Absolutely.
So thank you for sharing that powerful story. I'm so glad she got connected with you. And again, if any of this is resonating with you, we encourage you to reach out today to schedule your time to come in and receive this complimentary written financial plan. It costs you nothing. Not calling could unfortunately cost you a lot when it comes to your retirement. So we encourage you to reach out today. 877-697-6236 is the number to call. Or again, you're welcome to click that QR code. That will get you connected as well. We'll be back with more recent success stories for you right after this.
My first name's Tyler, my last name is Kiehne, and I'm a financial consultant here at Kiehne Wealth. I played football, so I'm a very competitive person, and I see the market in the same type of way. It always just piqued my interest as the big game, you know, and also just seeing the amount of people that my dad has helped and being able to do both helping people and also the financial space is just, it's a perfect mix for me. Because I love the finance world, I love the stock market. I think a lot of people appreciate working with the father and son because they know that this is a family business. I'm really excited for just the expansion, the new horizons that we're getting to see. I mean, we're taking this to whole new heights that it's never been to before. And with that, we get to help a lot more people and do a lot more of what we like to do.
Well, welcome back to Wealthy Living New Mexico, where today we've been sharing some recent success stories of viewers just like yourselves who have watched this show, called and come in to receive their complimentary written financial plan, and what has happened as a result. And we know that one of the shows that has resonated so much whenever we talk about taxes, honestly, right? Any show where we talk about how to reduce your tax burden always gets a lot of phone calls. A lot of folks want to know how to replace the government's existing tax plan for them with a better one that you can often provide. So what recent success story along those lines would you like to share?
Yeah, so like you said, we do several different topics on our TV shows, but the one that definitely gets the phone ringing is when we talk about, hey, how can you save taxes and position yourself more tax efficiently? So there was a guy that watched our show a while back, several months ago. He's 65, and he had done a good job saving. He'd saved up $500,000 in his IRA, and he didn't need the money. He was 65, said, I said, what's your plan? Well, I'm just going to defer it till age 73 till they make me start taking out those RMDs, the required minimum distributions. So we talked about, hey, at a 7% growth rate, that $500,000 in 8 years, when you're 73, it's going to be around $1 million. Then the IRS is going to start making you take out about $40,000 a year out of that, and that's all taxable. And so we projected out with our Kiehne Wealth tax test software, we projected out if he lived to age 90, he was going to pay $264,000 in taxes.
$564,000.
No, it was 264.
Oh, 264
it was 264 just on that.
Gotcha.
And then when he hit age 90,
that's what it was. Yes.
When he passes away, there's still going to be $1 million in that IRA.
Right.
And it was going to flow down to his kids, and they're probably going to be in their highest earning years. So let's call it a 30% tax bracket. That's another $300,000 taxes on that $1 million that he still had. So you add the $300 inheritance, tax that his kids was going to have to pay, plus the 264. It was like $564,000 he was going to have to pay over 25 years on that $500,000 account. So he's going to pay more in taxes than the whole account was worth. So if you're out, and we showed him a strategic plan to only pay $150,000 in taxes versus $564.
Wow.
So he was pretty happy about that.
Oh, for sure. That is a great way to end a show talking about recent success stories, right? Helping people pay less to the IRS. So Sean, Tyler, thank you so much. And we hope that you've enjoyed this conversation as well. We encourage you to reach out to the team of Kiehne Wealth. They are here to help and serve you. 877-697-6236 is the number to call. We love you, New Mexico. We'll see you next time here on Wealthy Living.